Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting. Okay, we're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, thanks so much. For our roll call, we have everyone here with us this evening. I'd like to announce that we had an executive session just a moment ago with regard to personnel. And now we're moving on to our first presentation. 3-1, Dr. Finnerty.
Thank you, and welcome everybody. At this time, I'd like to invite our middle school assistant principal, Mr. Steve Palladino, to come up to the podium and introduce some community members for us.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Finnerty, and thank you for having these members of the community here tonight. I wanted to just take a moment to introduce a very special guest that we have here. So his name is Dennis Elliott. I am connected to Dennis because he is a family friend, particularly of my father's. This past spring, he made a visit to the middle school. And he came up, he's been working on an idea of putting a Veterans Memorial into Upper Pottsgrove for quite some time. And they are on the cusp of pretty much breaking this thing open so that it can be displayed for the public. And he wanted to involve members of our building, a lot of our students in this process. And so what he wanted them to do is he kind of challenged me to come up with some kids to come up with the engraving that's going to be on the memorial. And so he gave me some parameters that we had to follow, and I got in touch with our 8th grade honors ELA teacher, Mrs. Frasca, and we discussed those parameters and got the kids to sit down and come up with a bunch of different scribes for it. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask that Mr. Elliott come on up to the mic here. And at the same time, Mr. Elliott is a veteran. We are recognizing this today because yesterday was Veterans Day, so let's give him a round of applause for his service.
Good evening, Dr. Finnerty, Mr. Chairman of the board members, and people for attending this night. I thank you all for coming, and my name is Dennis Elliott. I served in the United States Navy during the Vietnam War, and myself and Herb Miller, we started the Veterans Memorial 7 years ago when Herb was a commissioner. Michelle Reddick, the township manager, put me in touch with Pastor Bruce Mulberry from the Hopewell Community Church, and also with State Street Bingo, and they were spearheading the effort to raise money to complete this memorial. And every community day, all the proceeds go to the Upper Pottsgrove Veterans Memorial. And I had asked Stephen to contact the 8th grade students to submit ideas to go on the center stone, would be permanently etched. And I'll read them to you now. It says, "For God and country," gotta put my cheaters on. That's why I'm having trouble reading. Getting old here. "We don't know them all, but we owe them all for their courage, bravery, and devotion to America. For those who received so little, for which they gave so much, the full measure of their lives, gone but not forgotten, may God grant their souls with eternal peace and rest." And the back will say, Upper Pottsgrove Township, Veterans Memorial, thank you for your service. So the main stone, the inscription came from our then 8th grade students. And it was a tall order because I was looking for one. I couldn't pick one. So I talked to the pastor, I talked to professionals. So I took a word from here, a sentence from there, because I wanted to include everybody, because those kids all took a time out of their life to remember us. Tonight, I want to remember them. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Helen Walt, and I work for State Representative Donna Shuren. The representative would have loved to be here personally to present these certificates to the children, but the House is in session this week, and she is in Harrisburg. She took the time, however, to share her heartfelt words with me that I would like to read to you. First off, my sincere thanks to Superintendent Dr. Finnerty, his administration, and the Pottsgrove School Board for allowing my office and me to take part in tonight's festivities. Moreover, thank you to the families in attendance here tonight and everyone else that came out to recognize the efforts of these amazing students. In addition, thank you to all those who have had a hand in seeing this project through to its fruition. One name in particular, Mr. Dennis Elliott, whose steadfast commitment to this project never wavered. He is to be commended for keeping this mission in the hearts and minds of us all until completion. These young students, who were only in 8th grade at the time, have demonstrated great patriotism and love for their country, as did the very veterans they are honoring. The sentiments of these students will forever be etched into stone, which is a joy upon itself. Their words will forever pay tribute to the brave veterans that have fought so hard and sacrificed so much in protecting our country. As the daughter of a Marine and someone that has enjoyed a life of freedom and opportunity, honoring and thanking our veterans is one of the most important things I feel we all can do. To all the thoughtful students, I'm sure your families are very proud of each of you for taking the time to express your gratitude to the veterans in a very personal way. I sincerely hope that the patriotic spirit you have shown in these inscriptions is just the beginning, and that your patriotism for this country will only strengthen throughout your lifetime. It is a pleasure to present each of you with a certificate, not only for your work with the veterans, but for being model students that your peers can look up to and emulate going forward. My sincere thanks to the parents as well for raising the children to respect the gifts of life and liberty endowed by our Creator, but protected by all the veterans that have so faithfully served our nation. Thank you, congratulations, and may God bless you and your families this Thanksgiving and throughout the upcoming holiday season. So I have the certificates here, and I'll call each of your names, and if you'd like to come up, I'll give you the certificate, and then we'll take a picture. Sophie Colotin. Is it, okay. Ella Cook. Madison Deal. Elena DiMarzio. Elias Fox. Alexa Foyle. Kendra Frias. Morgan Gray. Gabriella Groff. Ella Hively. Arabella Kushner. Kira Lang. Alexandra Moon. Jarrell Finnessy. Nicholas Rowe. Corrine Schrower. Lucas Stetler. Mason von Bramer. Madeline Wages. And Zoe Yaboa.
Dennis, when is it actually, when is it going to be a done deal?
I'm hoping to get it done by Memorial Day 2025.
Okay.
Some of the stones are being cut, I won't have until January.
Would you, can I impose upon you to ask, to let us know when it's ready?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We'll have a big shindig.
All right, thank you very much. Me? Oh, thank you, Michelle. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wanted to take a moment to say, much like Mr. Palladino, Mr. Elliott has been an amazing friend to my father for many years. My father, Scott Morgan. And I want to say that you are so, it's hard to, I'm going to get emotional. It's hard to speak to a hero in person. Mr. Elliott, thanks is not enough for your service. None of you were thanked as you should have been. It's up to us to make up for that. So again, thank you for your service, and thank you for what you continue to do for the veterans today, even old tough guys like my dad. So I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, I've been working on him 52 years. It's no different today. Thank you. But truly, you're just consistently serving in the community. So you took your service to country and translated that to service to community, and there are not enough thank yous to go around for that. Thank you very much. All righty.
Public comment.
We are moving on to public comment. Sorry. Any public comment in the room this evening? Sir? And Mr. Elliott? Thank you. Okay, we're welcoming public comment. It would be an agenda-based item. You get, I'm sorry?
I go basically for the school district, the lower Pottsgrove school district in particular. I've
Oh.
talked to multiple teachers.
Sir, if you wouldn't mind, come to the microphone. So you would just state your name, township of residence, and then you'll have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jonathan, and I also would like to thank him for his service. I also did 12 years in the United States Air Force, deployed 2 times into the Middle East, so I have great appreciation for a gentleman like him. But my issue that I have as a parent, my township is, I don't have to hold it no more, I'm sorry about that. So I'm out of, over in Stowe, and my daughter goes to Lower Pottsgrove. And she is a special needs student. And the issue that I've saw and talked to some of the teachers about that they have complained about was a fencing around the playground, which is both the safety for special needs children as long as regular education students. There's roads right there, they can run in and out, run to those roads. The teachers said they have brought it up multiple times and they've gotten shot down. So I would like to, get a fence for these kids so they don't have to worry about a random person coming up, or if they are like my daughter who like to elope, potentially could run out. There's not enough staff there to keep an eye on these kids. I understand that. That's why a fence around the perimeter for the playground would be a safety matter. Another issue that I had that was brought up was recently there was a substitute teacher at that school district that had to be taken away because he was on drugs. There is no drug testing for these teachers. Why is there no drug testing? If they're going to teach around these students and these young kids, they should have all the requirements. I have to have a drug test every job that I do every year for the military. Why aren't substitute teachers having drug tests? That should be a mandatory thing. It shouldn't even be a question. I'm sure everybody here who has a job had to have a drug test multiple times probably. So I don't understand why that was an issue, and it shouldn't be an issue going forward. It's for these kids' safety. If that's what we're here for as parents and as school board members and teachers, kids, we have to have safety for these kids. Can't have teachers on drugs. It's just, I just don't understand how that even happened and how that got by. That's really my two issues, which is for the safeties for these kids with the fencing, and I believe it should be mandatory drug testing with these teachers, substitutes included. Thank you.
Thank you. With public comment, it's more of a public testimony where it's not a Q&A. However, do we have information from for Jonathan? Maybe you want to submit information so that further conversations could occur. Okay.
So if I can, and I'll speak to you, but I'll just also speak to anybody that happens to be watching. If there's ever a concern with any operation in the district or any interaction with any teacher or any staff member in the district, I want everybody to know, you personally and anyone else who's listening, is that you'll find a very receptive group of administrators to talk to. That is my philosophy and expectation, and it's frankly been my experience that you want to talk to an administrator, they'll give you time. They'll sit down and talk with you and answer any questions you have. And if you still have questions and you want to go beyond their level, I'm there as well. So I would encourage you to do that. I'd also, I'm not going to speak specifically to this, I'd also encourage everybody, if you see something on Facebook that's not directly from us, please ask the questions directly of us, and we'll make sure that you'll get the straight answers from us. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there other public comments in the room? Okay. Anything online? Okay, we're going to move on to the November student report.
Yeah, flying solo today. All right. Sorry, I'm too close to the mic. All right, so Cecilia isn't here because she had work, so I'm gonna read over her report, but it might be a little choppy because I haven't gone over it with her, but I'll start now, I suppose. Powder Puff football has begun as of the 7th of this month, which hosted 5 girl players and 2 coaches each. Students have been roused by the new event and have generated lots of hype surrounding the subject, and many students have come to me to report that they want to see it again for the coming years. Shout out to Mr. Engstrom, Ms. Bedard, and Mr. Rambo for running this activity. They've done a great job, and again, a lot of students really want to see it happen again. A lot of people had a lot of fun. Mr. Desiderio, I'd like to give him a quick shout out because he took the AP Environmental students on a field trip to the Arboretum. So they learned how to identify species in local streams, how to locate local tree species, and how to measure quantities of carbon dioxide and oxygen in local water. That was a very great trip, so thank you, Mr. Des. Mr. Kriebel and the rest of his DECA team hosted the school career fair. This is the first time since COVID that students have been able to attend this event that teaches students how to manage money and apply degrees in real life with fun prizes like pizza. So a lot of people were going, obviously, to get that pizza. There was also a mock election during the election season, and it saw a lot of turnout, actually. So history teachers would send their students over to participate in the mock election. There were write-ins. You could vote for whoever you wanted, and it did result in a large sweep of support for Kamala Harris. Next bullet point, the ending of the first quarter marked the beginning of the honor roll and the receiving of PSAT scores as well. However, with all this new academic response, some students have been asking me personally if I could talk to you guys about our Power School system and our dating system on GPA updates, because some students are feeling that they're not getting the sense that they can see them enough. So there's a lot of honor roll students who are trying to maintain a 4.0, and sometimes it'll drop below, but they don't know. So they're trying to just see if there's any way to manage that. I don't know if you guys can. I'm just, reporting from the mouth. The debate team, which I'm actually co-founding, has begun. So I'd like to shout out Lindsay Palmer, Miss Scott, and Dr. Smith. We've done a great job. We actually got 23 applications. We're starting right after Thanksgiving break, and there's actually more students on their way now. So it's looking pretty good, actually. It's looking very positive. So students want to get heated into debate. They want to get into political debates. They want to talk about silly stuff. It's going to be a great experience, and I think it's good that we're getting our youth engaged in policy and debate, arguing, things that'll actually mean something for them in the future. So this is a very important club, and I'm glad that we've brought it back after 12 years. And then now for Cecilia's part. So sorry if this part gets choppy. This is the uninformed bit. I do know a bit about it, but clubs are beginning to prepare for Winterfest. So National Honor Society, Diversity, all of our clubs. Winterfest is an event held here on December 7th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Pottsgrove High School cafeteria that invites families in our community to a fun day of holiday cheer. This event is ran by Mrs. Smoyer and is organized through NHS Student Council and Spark the Wave. There will be activities such as paper snowflake making, snowball fight game, which I'm participating in, face painting, bake sales, holiday craft, and a lot more. So we're all very excited for that. There's going to be a lot of participants there. The 14th annual Toss Your Turkey race on Thanksgiving morning is a fundraiser event for local organizations in need, run by the athletic department, partnered with our cross-country team and the Manatani Athletic Run Club. Last year, there were over 580 participants, and $4,000 was donated to our community. This year, we have a total of 14 sponsors, so we're getting up there. The Booster Club had a holiday market at the Grove this past Saturday. They had over 40 vendors that showcased unique gifts and handcrafted items. All of the money raised goes to support all student athletes through grades 7 through 12. So a lot of student athlete stuff for winter sports. Getting excited for that. Again, high school winter sports begin on Friday, November 15th. Bowling, winter track, and middle school sports have begun on November 18th. High school PTA is hosting a clothing drive on November 16th in the front office of the high school. All proceeds go to the Pottsgrove High School post-prom. And that seems to be the end of it. But I just want to say that students are really starting to engage in activities, and we've seen a lot more activities come through this year as last year. So we're making a lot of change on the student level. So it's looking good. Yeah.
Congratulations on getting Debate Club up and running. That's fantastic. So Ms. Scott's going to be the faculty advisor? Or?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep.
You're going to let us know when the first event is, so we
Yep.
can come see that.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, awesome.
I can't think of a better person to lead that program than Mrs. Scott. She's fantastic. Thank you, Adam. Does anybody have any questions with regard to the student report? Okay, we're going to move on to your report, Dr. Finnerty.
Okay, I was also going to talk a little bit about the PTSA fundraiser for Time to Clean Out Your Closet and More. It is supporting the post-prom, and people can drop off a number of items: clothing, clothing accessories, toys, household items, and shoes on that Saturday, November 16th. So that's this coming Saturday, from 8 to 11 at the high school. And I hear that they're doing really well. So if you have those kind of items, you can check our website for what's acceptable and what's not. Please come on out. I have two other things. We have another giant vaccination clinic. The first one filled up, so they are running another one. So thank you to Mr. Steve Ansbach for working with our friends at Giant Pharmacy. On Wednesday, November 20th, from 3:30 to 5:30, we'll have fluid and COVID-19 vaccine clinics, and that again will be at the high school. And my last item is we are once again having all of our 8th grade students attend the Western Center. This is something that Dr. Gonzalez put in last year, and it increased interest and increased enrollment of our 8th grade staff, our 8th grade students rather. In prior years, we had, you had to opt into going, and Dr. Gonzalez and Mr. Palladino came up with the idea of just sending everybody to kind of show them, and it's been an improvement. So that is happening next Thursday and Friday. We're going to do it in 2 separate days, because I think we used to do it in 1. Is that correct? Okay, excellent. And that's my report for this evening.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Finnerty. We're moving on to action item 7, approval of minutes.
I'd like to make a motion, the approval of minutes, that we approve 7.1 and 7.2.
Okay, we have a motion and multiple seconds to approve the minutes, 7.1 and 7.2. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Items passed. Moving on to 8.1, receiving of accounts.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the October 2024 high school, middle school activity accounts, and cafeteria accounts as presented.
Okay, we have a motion and second to approve 8.1. Questions or comments with regard to this? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving to 9.1.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 9.1, granting of orders, approve the payment of invoices in the amount of $3,430,661.31 for October 2024 as presented.
A motion and a second to approve 9.1, paying the bills. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I think motion passes. Moving to 10.1, the treasurer's report.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 10.1, approve the treasurer's report for October 2024.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the treasurer's report. Questions or comments? Okay, I have a quick comment. I just want to thank you, Mr. Trump, for your help with regard to the treasurer's reports and all the other work that you're performing in the business office is greatly appreciated. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to action items personnel.
I'd like to make a motion under action items personnel 11.1, administrative staff, that we approve Mr. Leckie, Ron Leckie, as the business administrator.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Mr. Ron Linke as a business administrator. Any questions, comments? Dr. Finnerty?
Comments, or I was just going to say, go ahead.
I'm very excited to have Mr. Linke back on the agenda and to welcome him back into Pottsgrove family. So, pending board approval, of course.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, he's done such good work for us, and I'm just thrilled to have him back.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Welcome back, Mr. Linke. Moving on to 11.2.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 11.2, retirement for 2 of our administrative staff.
We have a motion and a second to approve our retirements. Any questions or comments with regard to our retirees?
Yes, so we have 2 administrators retiring this evening. First, I'd like to, congratulate both of them and thank them for their combined 67 years, I believe, is the correct number. And if you can just imagine how many thousands of students they've influenced over those 67 years, it's amazing. We don't have Dr. Smith in the room, I don't think. No, we do have Ms. Kohler. Thank you for coming, and that gives me the opportunity to say this to you in front of everyone. There's a lot of gratitude I have in my heart for your service to this district. I've known you for 3.5 years now. There's certainly people who have known you longer, but one of the things that I want to just kind of highlight is when we did not get the pre-K counts grant, that you should know Ms. Kohler was someone who 10 years or so ago tried to bring this grant to the district. We weren't, and it didn't work out then. But when we were able to get something off the ground, She approached me and with the proposition of, hey, my passion's here. This is a great program. I want to bring it to the district and get it off the ground in the right way. And she has stepped up and just taken the reins on making sure that our early education is going to be successful. And having visited there, it's a lot. And she's doing she's doing a fantastic job, and what a great way and what a great legacy and what a great way to kind of exclamation point on a wonderful career. So thank you. Yeah.
I'd like to, whenever I first elected to the board 10 years ago, I guess is at this point, yeah. Soon afterwards, there was an event at the high school with the Globetrotters, and came to volunteer, and I was working with Terry doing something, I really don't remember what, because she would try to talk to me and maybe get 2 sentences out before a small child would run up and hug her, and then like run away. And then she'd get 2 or 3 more sentences out, and another child would run up and hug her. And this went on for pretty much the entire evening. It was really funny just to watch, but it was so enjoyable too, because the kids obviously all loved her, but it was just really funny. It was like nonstop children coming in and hugging her. So that was my first real memory with Terry, so thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations to Mrs. Kohler and Dr. Smith. Okay, we're moving on to 11.3.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 11.3 through 11.11.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the remaining items. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motions pass. Moving to action items business, 12.1.
I'd like to make a motion under action items business, 12.1, the resolution to stay within the Act 1 index.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to remain within the Act 1 index, which is at 4% for this year. We go through this each year where we discuss the Act 1 index, and each year we also mention that we don't have any intention of going to this percentage. It's merely a resolution to state that we will not exceed this. I think I speak for all of us when I say that we've always had the mindset we want to deliver the best education and the best work environment that also is in balance with our community's needs and what our community can afford. We all live here. We know the challenges that we face with our taxes. So it's one of those things where we always make the statement that we are not looking to raise taxes to 4%. This is merely the index, and we're stating we are not going to exceed that. That said, any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to 12.2.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 12.2, the power purchase agreement with an explanation for the community.
Okay, motion and a second. Dr. Finnerty?
So this is a 2-year power purchase agreement with WGL Energy Services for energy about a little more than 5.5 cents per kilowatt hour as submitted. We have entered into these agreements previously. We are not currently under an agreement, and through the facilities department and energy consultant work, this is the best agreement that we feel we can bring to the board at this time.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving to 12.3.
I'd like to make a motion, 12.3, EI Associates Design and Bid Specification Services for the tennis courts replacement, which we discussed at the facilities meeting tonight.
Could I just add or request that the motion as presented be amended to include subject to finalization of the contract by the district solicitor and district administration, so that we can just finalize the terms of the contract. And I just asked if the first and second would agree to that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, did you wish to elaborate a bit on 12.3, Dr. Finnerty?
I certainly could. So 12.3 is a design bid specification for the renovations to our tennis courts located at our high school. This is the first process to do the engineering work and write the bid specification, which would then be part of a request for proposals moving forward. Our timetable with the tennis courts is to begin work in the immediately at the end of school and have it ready for the fall of this coming year, fall of 2025. So this is the first step in that process.
Okay, thanks for that. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to 12.4.
I'd like to make a motion, 12.4, the purchase of snow removal equipment and safety upgrades.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve 12.4. Questions or comments?
Just a comment, this was discussed at the facilities meeting this evening. All sounded good.
Okay, so I have a question. Where's my little questions? So with the snow plow, it's kind of a technical question. So the Ford Ranger is a small truck, and to add a plow to it, adds a lot of weight to the front end. So, my question was, are there any suspension enhancement systems being planned for this, or are these trucks not driven too often? There was just concern within my household that having all that weight on the front end of a fairly small truck that actually isn't recommended to have snow plows could cause damage to the truck long term.
It's my understanding that this is basically for those locations where the big plow can't go in. So this is designed for small applications.
Right, and
Yeah.
that's fine, that's fine. I'm asking because it is a smaller truck and it does not have the same,
The horsepower, the torque, yeah.
right, because I saw the other one was a whatever it was, Ford F-250.
Well, it's a 250.
The 250 obviously can handle a snowplow.
Yeah.
Ford Ranger is like.
It's a mini pickup. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really small. So that was the question. If it's not driven often, then maybe there wouldn't be issues with the suspension. Is it being left on?
It is not intended to be used on things like the parking lot.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that a snowplow is heavy, okay? A Ford Ranger is not a heavy-duty truck like an F-250. So to have a snowplow, a heavy snowplow, on the front of a small truck can cause suspension problems because think about it. You got the truck, it's not a heavy truck, you've got the snowplow, it's tipping it forward a little bit, which can cause suspension problems in the rear axle.
It's not intended to be used in heavy snow conditions. I think
Am I stuttering?
So-
Okay, you're not understanding what I'm saying.
Maybe I think Casey is in the audience. I think Casey can probably address that.
The plow, Boss makes these plows specifically for lightweight trucks like this. It is a lightweight plow for the smaller trucks. Therefore, it's not going to be used in a heavy application. I think that's what Mr. Nipper was trying to explain. It's a lightweight plow for the truck, so you don't have to increase the suspension and any needs for that. It's designed specifically for that style truck. And therefore, it's only going to be used to plow very small areas where we're not going for long distances or having a heavy load against the truck. It's going to be for small parking lots, the circles, the DO area, those small lots. So, yeah, we're not using the plow for a lot of the large spaces, for the smaller spaces, so the big trucks can handle the large spaces. So this plow is specifically designed for Ford Rangers, Toyota Tacomas, Chevy S10, the Colorados. It's a small footprint, lightweight, designed specifically for the small trucks.
Okay, as long as it's light, because I'm not worried about the snow that it's plowing. It's more the constant weight on the front end of the truck.
If you look on that quote, there's two plow options. The second plow option is 135 pounds heavier than the lightweight. So we specifically went with the lightweight, knowing what we're going to be using it for. So it's strictly for small areas and minimal use. I'm not saying minimal, I mean, just not extended usage.
Right. Is it something that's going to stay on the truck year-round?
We're going to take it on and off all the time.
Okay,
So, and that's
all
the
right.
other part.
That helps too.
It's easy on, easy off.
Okay.
We'll only go on the day before a snowstorm, and once we're done, we'll clean it up and take it off the truck.
Okay.
And I don't want to ruin the truck. It's just.
Right, that was our concern, because it's only a 2019. I know it's it's a newer to us truck, so.
Yeah, we specifically had a lot of conversations back and forth, because I didn't want to be putting a plow on it that would ruin the truck either, so.
Perfect.
We have the lightest plow they make for that style of truck.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to keep it off as much as possible.
Okay, awesome, thanks.
No problem.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving to 12.5, please.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 12.5, the grant for automated external defibrillators.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve 12.5. Any questions or comments on this item?
This is, I would just like to thank Senator Katie Muth. This is a grant that came through her office in conjunction with Aiden's Heart Foundation and the United Way of Chester County and the Chester County Intermediate Unit. So this will, at no cost to the district, this will provide additional AEDs that will be placed across the district.
Excellent.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to 12.6, please.
I'd like to make a motion at 12.6, the Market Street proposal for ROG orthodontics.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve 12.6, Market Street Proposal, ROG Orthodontics. Questions or comments?
Comments, just always thanking our sponsors.
Yes.
We really appreciate it.
Any others? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to 12.7.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 12.7.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve 12.7. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to action items, education.
I'd like to make a motion to approve 13.1, Albright College Affiliation Agreement.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve 13.1. Any questions or comments? Dr. Finnerty, do you wish to expand on this one?
Sure. 13.1 is it's a affiliation agreement with Albright College, and this is yet more evidence of Mr. Voris's work with area colleges to establish more relationships so that we can host pre-service teachers, student teachers, and they get to understand how wonderful it is to be here and build our recruiting field. So thank you, Mr. Voris, and I recommend you approve it.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving to 13.2.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 13.2 conference attendance through 13.4.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve our conference attendance 13.2 through 13.4. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion's passed. Moving to 14.1, approval of policies.
I'd like to make a motion, 14.1, the approval of policies. I'd like to, yeah.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the policies. Questions or comments on these?
Comments would be thank you for the policy committee. They do a great job.
Thank you, Dr. Lucas. She's back there nodding. Do an amazing job. Thank you. Questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving to 15.1, the JOC meeting update.
The Western Montgomery Career and Technology Center Joint Operating Committee met on Monday, November 4th at 7 p.m. 5 administrative updates. Mr. Robert Rizzo, who is the superintendent of the Springford Area School District, was appointed to the position of the Western Center Superintendent of Record for a one-year term beginning January of 2025. There were 4 youth organizations and advisors approved at the meeting: Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, the Health Occupation Students of America, the National Technical Honor Society, and Skills USA. Administrative Director Dave Livengood was approved for paternity leave beginning December 2nd, 2024, and ending on January 3, 2025. Staff and Service Day was held on Tuesday, November 5, focusing on the theme of de-escalation. And lastly, for the administrative updates, 51 students and 5 administration and staff members will be attending the Skills USA Leadership Conference on November 13 through 16, 2024 at the Kalahari Resort in Pocono Manor. The Policy Committee of the Western Center presented the second reading and approved 4 policies. Policy 103, which is discrimination under Title IX, sexual harassment affecting students. Policy 103.1, non-discrimination qualified students with disabilities. Policy 103.2, non-discrimination based on sex under Title IX. And Policy 104, discrimination Title IX, sexual harassment affecting staff. 2 other actions: the dates for the 2025 JOC meetings were approved. I have them listed here for those listening. They are January 6, February 3, March 3, April 7, May 5, June 2nd, August 4, September 8, October 6, and November 3rd. There are no July or December meetings. All meetings are held at the Western Center at 7 p.m., except for the April and September meetings, which will be 5 o'clock p.m. via Zoom. Lastly, Wednesday, December 4th is open house at the Western Center. As you heard previously discussed, next week all of our 8th grade students visit the Western Center, so it's nice that this open house follows that. And for people listening, if you are interested, if your child is interested after the visit, I highly recommend parents and the child attend the open house on December 4th. More information can be found on the Western Center website. The time for the open house is 5 to 8. The first hour is just an information session for prospective students and parents, and the last 2 hours, 6 to 8, is a community open house. So if you come back from next week's visit and are interested, again, we very much recommend you attend this open house. December 4 is also the date that applications open for the Western Center for next school year. So the calendar flows pretty well there. The next JOC meeting is Monday, January 6th at 7 p.m. There is no December meeting. Chuck, you were not at the meeting. Patty, you were. But either of you, we sit on JOC together, the 3 of us. Any additional comments?
I just have one. Our solicitor is retiring, Mark Davis, and he's been with us from day 1 over at the Western Center. So I just wish him well, thank him for all his time and effort in guiding us where we need to be, and wishing him a happy retirement.
Chuck? Nothing.
The only thing I would add is Mark has done a lot of good service for over a long time, and I wish him well.
Tina, that is it for me.
The only comment I have is congratulations to the Living-Goods. That's exciting. Any other questions or comments for Jay? Okay. Moving on to 16 committee items.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 16.1 Operation Finance Committee meeting minutes from October 8th, 2024.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve 16.1. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 16.2.
I'd like to make a motion, 16.2, that we approve the minutes for Curriculum, Instruction, and Technology Committee meeting minutes, October 15th, 2024.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve 16.2. Questions or comments with regard to the CIT meeting minutes? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. 16.3 is the Policy Committee meeting report for October 22.
Good evening. So the Policy Committee met on October 22nd, and similar to what the JRTOC met, we looked at Title IX as well. So we had 12 different policies that we reviewed, all that had to do with the Title IX changes that came down from legislative changes this summer, August 1st. So I'm just going to go through each of the ones that we talked about. Most of them had different language change, definition changes in the way in which we, support individuals, making sure we are compliant with Title IX regulations. So we had Policy 103, discrimination and harassment affecting students. We had Policy 103.1, discrimination of qualified students with disabilities. We had Policy 104, discrimination and harassment affecting staff. Policy 247, hazing. Policy 252, dating violence. Policy 317.1, educator misconduct. Policy 436, personal necessity leave. Policy 536, personal necessity leave. One of them was for professional staff. The other is for, what was the other one for? The non-classified staff. And then we had Policy 439, uncompensated leave for professional employees. And then we had Policy 539, uncompensated leave for classified employees. And Policy 807, opening exercises, moments of silence, flag displays. And Policy 824, maintaining professional adult-student boundaries. So it was a very full evening of policy review. And that is the end of the report.
Thank you, Dr. Lucas. Does anybody have any questions about the policies? Okay. We are at new business. Dr. Finnerty.
Just wanted to wish Miss Chrissy Breyer a happy birthday. Today is her birthday.
Happy birthday, Chrissy. Jay, anything from you?
What did you say, me? Prior to this meeting, Jim and Tina and I guess it was Anik and I were at a advisory council meeting for the career counseling group. So I would like to give a shout out to the district's career, to the counseling staff of the district and the work that they're doing. Just an amazing job at each of the levels, but equally important, the connections between the levels with the flow of what they're doing. They are seeking advice from members of the community and I think are doing a tremendous job getting more and more involvement from the community and beginning to use that advice or those recommendations into the planning that goes on. If there are any parents of high school students especially listening, and they have not, your child has not talked to the counselors, I would recommend you advise them to do that. I have 3 grandchildren who are seniors. They've been using those services, and I am amazed at how well they are learning to navigate the systems that are there to help them make decisions about what they'd like to do with the next phase of their life. So again, a shout out to our counselors who are doing that work with the students, and really a recommendation to parents and any students listening that if you're not working with the counseling staff, really recommend you reach out to them because they can help you through the decisions that are coming up in your life. Jim, the rest of the group that was there, anything to add from the meeting? Anik, anyone?
Just that the partnerships that they started to put together is amazing, and I'm really excited. My kids are in the middle school right now, but by the time they get to the high school, I know that they'll have the kind of support that they need.
Yeah, and you had mentioned the word partnership. I think what stuck out to me was kind of the buzzword of partnership and pathways. And I probably have that backwards. It's probably pathways and partnerships. But the point being that it's connecting our kids to something that matters, you know, something that kind of anchors them to the building, because this is where they learned about it, but also helps propel them out into their next steps. And it was very impactful. It was an excellent meeting. It really was. Thank you for mentioning, Jay. Patty, any new business?
Just one quick thing. I'd like to congratulate Mark Davis for serving as our solicitor here at Pottsgrove and wish him a happy retirement.
Anik? Tanya? Dr. Nippert? No. Jim? No. Ashley? Okay. Adam, how's school going?
It's going pretty good, actually. Yeah, so I've noticed a lot of kids are starting to lock in as quarters end. As they come back in, grades are filling in. So people are really focused up, and it's looking good.
Thank you for sharing and for not minding that question too awful much. Okay, we're moving on to our last public comment. Is there anyone in the room who wishes to give public comment? Okay. Anyone online? Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay. Second? Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Good night, everyone. Thank you.